So, Dr. Wilson, tell us about your surgery.
17 years ago, I had a laparoscopic repair of bilateral inguinal hernias.
So what did that entail?
Um, Essentially, a small decision is made just below the umbilicus, and the camera is inserted, and a mesh is put over the site of the hernias to block that potential space. Um, I think that all went reasonably well, but I was supposed to be discharged home.
So, what complications arose, if any?
Well, initially there was a problem when I was in the recovery room. They don't really want to discharge you until there's been some sort of diuresis. Look that up. Anyway, I only got out later that night, around midnight, and sort of okay when I got home, although I wasn't feeling great. But the next morning, I still wasn't feeling great, but the family all went out, and I still felt sort of unsteady. I think I might have called. The surgeon was told it was probably due to post-anesthesia syndrome. So I didn't really worry about it. Eventually, when everybody came home, I was feeling more decidedly unwell, and we eventually called a friend who was an anesthesiologist who felt that there was a small chance of a bleed as a complication. By this time I was pretty much resting in bed, not feeling well at all, and another friend, physician, came round, and when I stood up I just passed out, and we had to call 911, and an ambulance came and took me back to the emergency room of the hospital where I'd had the procedure. And it turned out that I'd been bleeding steadily from the site of the laparoscopic surgery for the past day, and I'd lost a lot of blood, and it turns out that in this surgery, which is done all the time, there are some rare complications, which include tearing of veins and arteries when the peritoneum is separated from the abdominal wall to create the space in which to do the insertion of the mesh.
Thank you.
Anyway, that's it.
In your medical opinion, which is the better option for surgery, open or laparoscopic?
Well, I mean, I had chosen laparoscopic. I thought I would have it done on the Friday. It was a Friday, and would be able to return to work on the Monday, and that there would not be any real morbidity or problems. And as it turned out, for me, it was a total disaster. I actually had another complication as a result of all this a few years later, which led to further surgery, and actually not being at work on the day of September 11th. Not that I would have been downtown, but still. Which was around the time that Jessica had just started kindergarten. I think laparoscopic surgery is a pretty safe procedure. But the problem with any medical procedure is that the complications and side effects, even though they might be a relatively small, even though there might be a relatively small incidence, that small incidence still represents distinct and discrete individuals who sort of go through potentially life-threatening problems, and that's something one always has to keep in mind. In retrospect, obviously, if I'd had the open surgical procedure, would have been less complicated for me. But in the total picture of problems, I think laparoscopic surgery is safe and causes fewer side effects and quicker return to function.
Thank you.